Research into second and foreign language teaching and learning has shown that the incorporation of certain strategies and instructional techniques can have a positive impact on the language learning process. Most of these strategies are related to the basic theoretical foundations of the communicative approach, experiential and project-based learning. In addition, educational research has highlighted the need for the incorporation of information and communication technology (ICT) and the creation of a friendly and collaborative atmosphere. The successful transformation of these theoretical concepts into classroom practices can lead to increased student motivation and language acquisition. Given the fact that many language students have low motivation levels and as a result fail to learn the English language, it is evident that the challenge is not related to the availability of theoretical frameworks for the teaching of English, but to the implementation of appropriate instructional practices and the successful incorporation of motivational strategies. Concerning the content of this presentation, we first briefly discussed the theoretical framework for the successful teaching of English as a second or foreign language, presenting and critically evaluating the results of research into effective language teaching. This is followed by practical recommendations, techniques and procedures for English language classes. Finally, conclusions are drawn and the most important arguments are summarized. Concerning communicative language teaching, its main goal is communicative competence, a basic aspect of which is to develop the learner's ability to use language which is appropriate for real-life contexts. It is a learner-centered approach that focuses on fluency rather than accuracy, without, of course, disregarding it. In practical terms, in the language classroom, communicative language teaching involves providing learners with activities and tasks that require meaningful and purposeful interaction. A communicative syllabus is comprised of activities in which learners assume a socially determined role and engage in real-life communication. These activities engage students in meaningful communication that promotes the integration of the different language skills. Concerning using project work, creative use of language lies behind the theoretical framework of project-based learning. There are many benefits for students who participate in project work in the language classroom. For example, students are provided with genuine, real-life opportunities for communication that promote the natural integration of their language skills, since learners are provided with repeated opportunities for interaction, modified input, and negotiated meaning. When students gather information, they need to discuss what information is relevant and should be collected. Negotiation of meaning is also required when students compile and analyze the information collected. Participation in projects improves positive attitudes towards learning, promotes analytical thinking, and increases enjoyment. In terms of practical incorporation of projects for the promotion of purposeful language learning, projects should be designed in such a way as to ask students to collect and analyze information, reach conclusions, cooperate, and use their critical and creative thinking. Concerning ICT in the language classroom, ICT can be highly beneficial to the language learning process. For example, the Internet is a rich source of authentic material such as video, which can be exploited in the language classroom. In addition, Google Docs can be used for collaborative writing in the framework of a process approach to writing, which constitutes an approach to writing that stresses the process of writing rather than the product itself. Mobile devices, such as mobile phones and tablets, can be used in the language classroom. For example, they offer access to applications, which means that they can be used for presentation purposes and for collaboration, among other uses, of course. Moreover, applications that have been especially designed for the language classroom can be employed. Educational research has shown that students who perceive their classrooms as threatening, non-friendly environments are more likely to suffer from foreign language anxiety, have low motivation levels and, as a result, low performance. Classroom arrangements and teacher practices that have a positive impact on the creation of a classroom atmosphere conducive to learning include providing indirect rather than direct correction, accepting the need for self-worth protection, providing non-verbal praise, and generally instilling the belief to students that student errors are tolerated and not punished, since they are considered as a natural part of the language learning process. In terms of wait time, that is the time a teacher gives to a student to answer a question, research has shown that teachers usually allow no more than 2 seconds for an answer before directing the question to another student. However, more wait time can lead to fuller, longer, and more complex answers. Pair and group work can also be exploited, as students suffer from less foreign language anxiety when they are given the opportunity to interact with their peers. Apart from being beneficial to the language learning process itself, pair and group work can provide students with lifelong cooperative skills and the ability to see things from a different perspective. In conclusion, we could say the following. Keeping students motivated and engaged in the English language classroom is often a challenging task. Teaching material and course books that are not in line with the interests and the needs of the learners, poor and ineffective use of ICT, excessive emphasis on a grammar-based approach can undermine student motivation. In addition, lack of activities and tasks that require and encourage meaningful and purposeful interaction, a classroom atmosphere that is not conducive to real communication and does not encourage students to experiment with language, a very competitive classroom structure, and a host of other parameters may discourage students from investing time and effort in learning the foreign language. To overcome this, language teachers should have a sound theoretical background in terms of learning theories. They should also be familiar with recent developments in the fields of language teaching and learning, educational psychology, and ICT, since the teaching process draws from theories and developments in many related disciplines. Theoretical knowledge of learning theories and the results of research into successful language teaching will enable teachers to select classroom techniques and procedures that are appropriate, effective, and relevant for their own teaching context, and that will boost motivation for all students. At the same time, it is important for language teachers to design and implement lessons that meet the students' needs, preferences, and learning styles. What is equally important is the fact that they need to design lessons that are suitable, interesting, and motivating for all students, so that their teaching is inclusive. This realization, in turn, means that teachers should be aware of and be willing to apply the basic principles of differentiated instruction, which assumes that students learn at different speeds and that they differ widely in their ability to think abstractly or understand complex ideas, as well as in relation to factors such as readiness, interest, and learning needs. Finally, we could say that teachers who wish to try out new classroom techniques should have patience, since in classroom contexts in particular, it is rare to find dramatic motivational events that, like a lightning or a revelation, reshape the students' mindsets from one moment to another. Thank you.